Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So right here we have the magicbox 3.0 and we have the Elite CarBox 4.0 from Stream to Your Car. In the past, these two companies, I basically focus on these two companies because they're both companies that are based out of the United States. Whereas usually a lot of the other products that I've come across, like on TikTok and all that other stuff, they're companies based out of China. Selling cheap products, they're a lot slower. And when I always worry about the warranty. If you have, these devices aren't very cheap. So imagine if you have a warranty issue, you don't want to have to ship your device back to China for warranty support. Right now, we have the magicbox 3.0 and the Elite CarBox 4.0. In the previous generation with the 2.0, I made a video comparing it to the Elite CarBox 3.0, which is the previous generation for these guys. Elite CarBox from Stream to Your Car won in pretty much every category. And the reason for that was because it was pretty straightforward and simple. These guys had double the specs. In the past, these guys used to have 4 gigs of memory and 64 gigs of storage. And these guys had double. They literally had 8 gigs of memory and 128 gigs of storage. So these guys had double, plus there were other reasons too, but I'm excited to finally compare the new generation, the latest and greatest from both, because now these guys finally are trying to kind of catch up to these guys. They finally doubled their memory. So now they're running at 8 gigs of memory, 128 gigs of storage, just like these guys, but there are other differences. So before I plug them in, let me just show you guys the difference, because I feel like a lot of people are basically just kind of influenced by their great marketing. I'm putting the image right on the screen. This is extremely important, to just hang in there with me, and then we're going to go ahead and plug in these devices. So both are using the Snapdragon CPU, which is good CPU, but the difference is that now magicbox, just switched to the Snapdragon CPU for the first time. And as you can see, that one is a 2 gigahertz CPU, whereas the Elite CarBox 4.0 guys are using the 2.2 gigahertz version. Now, the speed on the gigahertz is not just the only concern here. Yes, obviously, the Elite CarBox 4.0 CPU is faster, but it also has more capabilities. And if you actually look up the specs for both of them, you'll see that there's different resolutions supported between the two. Again, here, where it comes to the micro SD card for the storage, you can expand the Elite CarBox 4.0 up to 512 gigs of storage. The magicbox 3.0, you can only expand it up to 256 using the micro SD card. They both do 4K. The Elite CarBox 4.0, even though they are using more expensive hardware with the better CPU, their regular price, and they always have discounts. Both companies always have discounts, so if you're going to order, make sure you use a discount code. They normally post discount codes at the top of their website. But the Elite CarBox 4.0 regular price is $349. The guys in magicbox 3.0 our regular price is $389. At the time of this video, they have a discount code for $20 for the magicbox. And the guys from Stream to Your Car, they currently have on the top of their page a discount code for $45 off. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and find the absolute best discount code I can for both companies, and I will put them down below, probably in the comment section or something. We'll see. Now, I'm not sure. This is just my opinion. I'm kind of just guessing at this point, but I think my theory as to why the magicbox 3.0 is being released with such a high price of $389, even though they have the slower CPU, which you would think they should be able to give you a much better price. I suspect that part of the reason why they might be doing it is because they want to just release this product and make their existing customers feel like they're getting a great deal, because they're going to provide previous magicbox customers with the discount code to kind of make them feel like, oh, I'm going to get a great deal. So order processing, these guys take 2 to 3 days just to process the order before it ships. Order processing for the guys at Stream to Your Car, if you place the order before 12 p.m. Eastern time, between Monday and Friday, they ship out the same day, and they give you free 2 to 3 business day shipping. Whereas the magicbox guys, not only do they charge you an extra $40 for their product, they're charging you $9.99 if you want the same 2 to 3 business day shipping. But right off the bat, before we even plug them in, just looking at the numbers, you get a faster CPU. You can expand the micro SD card to a bigger card, a 512 instead of 256. It's going to cost $40 less. Now they're both based on Android 13. So these guys in magicbox, I guess they did their best to try and catch up to these guys. A lot of companies are trying to copy the guys from Stream to Your Car constantly. I see it all the time. It's all over social media, but everybody's usually trying to copy these guys and trying to, have the same kind of specs, but sometimes some of these companies kind of fall short. Like you can see right here with the CPU and the micro SD card. But anyway, now that I showed you all this, let's go ahead and plug them in and see what these things are all about. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in the magicbox 3.0 into this USB port right here with their official cable. My goal is to make this review as fast as possible, but I really want to cover everything. I don't want to miss anything because a lot of people that found my previous video that ended up buying the magicbox previous generation, they said, man, I really wish I would have seen your video before I placed my order. Unfortunately, some people, I guess, they don't really do their research before they place orders online. One thing I got to give credit to is the guys in the magicbox. They're really good at their marketing. When it comes to, let me just go ahead and go back. What is this here? Okay, we're at the main screen. What I was saying was I got to give these guys credit for their marketing. When it comes to the website, their product images on the website, and just our marketing plan all together. From the elite, whoa, screen actually just jumped by itself. So I want to see if it does it again because it's been very buggy ever since I got it. So got my hands right here, basically. In another part of the same video that I was just doing, the screens just started jumping around randomly. There you go. It's doing it again. Perfect. And like I said, I got both hands here. This is the magicbox 3.0. And it's a perfect example of why I like the other company Stream to Your Car with the Elite CarBox better. Just because whenever a company starts using a brand new CPU like the Snapdragon CPU, they're going to have to figure out a bunch of stuff. You look at how the screen just jumps. To me, it just appears like the software is just kind of buggy. I don't know. When a company comes out with a new product and they're using like a new CPU that they haven't used in the past, I mean, I guess things like this can happen. I don't know. It's just weird how it's just screen just jumps around. And that's like one of the things I like the most about the Elite CarBox is just the software. It seems so stable. It's been like well done. Like I said, they've been working with the Snapdragon CPU now for years. You don't see issues like this where the software is just the screen's just jumping around randomly. I don't know. I'll go ahead and I'll do more testing. Maybe I'll put another video. But I'm glad I was able to catch this on camera because, like I said, I'm not even touching the screen. I'm nowhere near the screen. And the screen just kind of jumps back and forth on its own, which just seems very odd. Like I said, I got to give these guys credit for their marketing, but their marketing is really good as far as making the website look nice and making the product sound great. If anybody just did a little bit of research and compared the specs between the products from Stream to Your Car and the magicbox products, you'll see that the products from this company, for Stream to Your Car, usually the specs are better. It's happened pretty much on not just this generation, but even the previous generation. These guys are pretty much a generation ahead of these guys since the previous generation. I mean, even now, they finally just caught up to the same memory and storage as the Stream to Your Car had in the previous generation, but they're still using the slower CPU. The CPU that they're using here, these guys were already using it maybe, I don't know, maybe about 2 years ago, maybe a little over 2 years ago. They were using that CPU and they decided to retire that CPU and use a more powerful one because it was just more capable. These guys, they could pretty much take a rock, put it in a box, put a pretty picture on it, and with their great marketing that they do and their website skills, I mean, they get a lot of people that basically fall for it and go for it. And look, my goal with these videos is to just kind of educate people as far as like what your options are. I really don't care if you go with the magicbox guys or the Stream to Your Car guys. I'm basically just telling you guys the facts and you guys make your own decision. We have our video playing right here like it should. So now one thing that I will point out is when you touch a screen, this little menu pops up, and I shouldn't say a little menu, I should say big menu. You see how every time you touch a screen, this thing's kind of in the way? Magicbox is kind of just figuring it out. I mean, this right here to me is kind of a rookie move, in my opinion. Why would you want to have this big menu? Every time you touch the screen, you're going to have this big menu right here in the way, because that can actually kind of get in the way of you clicking stuff. Now, granted, you could move this around, but why have this big thing always in the middle of the screen? The other thing that I'm not a fan of when you touch a screen is this control center. I've already been in scenarios where, let me see if there's a, look for another video or something like that. Let me just click one of these videos right here. All right, so volume is still turned down. Sometimes, well, this is not a great example, but sometimes you want to click somewhere in this area, and this little thing kind of gets in my way. And if you accidentally tap it, it's going to kick you out of the app and bring you to the screen, which is not what I want. So now I got to tap on the screen. This big menu pops up, and I click on home, goes there, and then I got to go back into YouTube. So you don't want to accidentally tap on this because it's just going to kick you out. Whereas the guys from Stream T Car, they don't even show you that menu there because they don't want that to get in the way. As far as how these devices work, yes, you could pretty much play and stream, a lot of your favorite apps. Like you got Disney, Netflix, YouTube. I'll click on, you got HBO Max, Peacock, ESPN. You have access to the place where you can download more apps, so you can install other apps that you want to install. I personally love the graphical interface on the Stream to Your Car. I feel like, I know some people think I'm being sometimes a little biased towards these guys, but I'm just telling you what I like. If you like having little shortcuts like this with little widgets, and you don't want anything else, then maybe you want this. But trust me, I'm gonna plug this one in, and I'll show you. This one not only has widgets, it also has a lot more information on the screen that's just more, I'd say, I don't know, more usable, more functional. But anyway, you guys make that decision. And so now both companies offer over-the-air firmware updates, so it's a lot easier to update the firmware with both of them now. In the previous, generations, you used to have to use like a micro SD card sometimes to upgrade the firmware. Not anymore. These new generations are a lot easier to update the firmware. You saw the videos. These are like YouTube Shorts, and then I'll go ahead and I'll find another video. Let's go ahead and just I'll click on this one right here, and then I'm gonna maximize it. So that's what it looks like when the YouTube video is maximized on the screen. Let's go ahead and switch to the Elite Car Box now and show you guys what this thing can do. One other difference also, both products also have HDMI ports. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's the HDMI port for this one. Please go ahead. Yeah, so it looks like a mini HDMI port. So both devices have mini HDMI ports. This is actually labeled, actually says mini HDMI port. So when would you use this? You would use this for vehicles that have screens in the back seats. If you have screens for your rear passengers, you can run a cable to those screens if they have like HDMI input ports. And then you could have video playing on the main screen on the front, and then also have the same exact video playing for your passengers in the rear if your car has those screens. So both will do the same thing. Over here on the Elite Car Box 4.0, it's got your mini HDMI port, then you get to the SIM card slot. They both have micro SD card slots too. A mesher, where it is on this one, but it's probably, maybe it's in here or something like that. But I do know that they do advertise the ability to use a micro SD card in this one. This one will support the magicbox 3.0. Again, it will support a micro SD card up to 256. The Elite Car Box 4.0 with the more powerful CPU will support a card up to 512 gigs, which is awesome. And over here, you have a service C port. This is actually reserved for other future devices. This is basically, it will act as an additional C port. This end, it says box over here, and then we'll plug in over here. You could see it has two little LED lights over here blinking right underneath, and the blue logo, just this logo lit up. You can actually change the colors to match like the theme of your car. So once you plug it in, you see the lights light up. It's gonna just come up on the screen, and this is what the main home screen looks like on the Elite Car Box 4.0 from Stream to Your Car. I just prefer this. This is just my own personal preference, but I got the weather right over here, which is pretty useful to me. I got some widgets right over here. All these are shortcuts. I could go ahead and just delete whatever I want from here. I can delete all of these, and then I can assign whatever I want. So I have at least 6 shortcuts right over here. I got a speedometer over here, which I think is pretty cool. You get the time with a little clock, digital. If I want to add a shortcut over here, I can go ahead and do that. I'm going to head that. I'm going to head the settings over here. So you could pretty much just load this up with your most frequently used apps, I guess. Have all these different shortcuts now. If you prefer the light colors like this, that's the default. But with this one, I've been using this one for a while. It's just, I really like this. So let me show you. I could go ahead and have, you can also have darker colors too. Like you have a style 1 and a style 2 if you wanted to do different colors. You can also set your own custom backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. This product actually came with a very detailed video showing you pretty much like everything that you could possibly do with this one. All right, so we're back at the main home screen where you get the weather and all that. So let's just say I want to open up an app like YouTube. I can just click on the YouTube shortcut right here, or I could swipe and use like one of the widget shortcuts, the same thing, but instantly just loads up really quick. Let me find something I can just click on here, play video. So both devices can play up to 4K, but what I do like about the Elite CarBox 4.0 is that more powerful CPU, because I do know that it also supports higher resolutions, which sometimes you need for certain vehicles that have big screens. From a functionality point of view, it's going to be similar, but now notice the big difference. When I tap the screen here, you just get this little circle, this little blue logo that pops up. You don't get that really big menu. I'll put it on the screen like you were getting with the magicbox. With the magicbox, you're getting this huge menu, and then this one just disappears. And again, if I touch it, you get this little thing that pops up, and then when you click on it, then it expands. To me, this is just kind of like common sense. Again, the guys from Stream to Your Car, they've been doing this for a really long time. They listen to the customer feedback, so they kind of know what they're doing. So, I mean, when you click like this, why would you want to see that big thing like that, like they were doing with the magicbox product? I'd rather just click, and then it goes away in a few seconds. Let me just give it a sec. There we go. Disappeared. I'm enjoying my video. So let's just say, for example, I want to go to like a different video. When I tap the screen, this little thing pops up, the little circle with the Elite CarBox logo, and I could just drag this. I could drag this very easily, no problem, to wherever I want, so it's not in my way. And again, it's so much smaller, it just doesn't really get in your way. You'll also notice it doesn't have that other menu at the top. On the magicbox, I'll show that again. You have that little menu over here at the top that if you accidentally click on that, it just didn't kick you out of the app. It brings you to like a completely different page when you tap that by accident, which could get annoying after a while. I'll move this over here. I typically like to keep this around here, but you can put it anywhere one. Then if I click here, I can click on the little house, brings you back to the main home screen. Or I'll go back to YouTube and let me just play the video again. Let's just say I'm playing the video and I just tap the radio. I can click the back arrow. It'll just take me back one level right here. This is where they look cool. You get at your heads. They both going to give you the Play Store, so you could go ahead and, download other applications. You just click on search and download whatever other applications you want. This one comes preloaded with a bunch of different apps also. It already comes with like Disney Plus and YouTube, Netflix, but it has a bunch of apps. So like I said, the apps over the matter. You can just download apps that you want. This was the other thing I was talking about with the LED. So here I can go ahead and this is just very minor. I can go ahead and just change the color to whatever I want. I usually keep it on blue. Blue's the default. It's just the theme in my car. I have like the blue stitching in this vehicle. With both of these companies, you could use either a cellular SIM card. You can carry to the Wi-Fi hotspot on your phone. That's how I like to use it. I just use the Wi-Fi hotspot on my phone, but if you use the cellular SIM card, some people like to use the Wi-Fi in their vehicle. The fact that they're still using a slower CPU and they're charging the audacity to charge $40 more on the regular price, $389 versus $349. They only have a $20 discount on the top of their homepage. These guys have the $45 discount at the top of the homepage. They give you free shipping. They charge you extra for shipping also. I mean, again, I've done multiple review videos between these two companies. These guys have always won. I kind of just feel these guys are just focusing, I feel like, more on the product, giving you the best product for the money. Whereas these guys, I feel like they invest a lot on their website, their marketing, pictures and that kind of thing. They do a great job at just making it look great. But at the end of the day, when you look at the specs and you look at the pricing, you have faster specifications on the Elite CarBox 4.0 and better pricing and the free shipping. So don't let me, influence you in either direction. I don't care if you go with this one, the magicbox 3.0 or the 4.0. Which one do I always use? I'm using the Elite CarBox 4.0. Before this, I was also using the Elite CarBox 3.0. The old generation of the Elite CarBox is pretty much kind of like what these guys have now. It's like the guys from Shimchigar, like a generation ahead. I've always say that to people, friends, neighbors, family, that are always asking me, hey, which one should I get? I normally recommend this one, but I'll include the information down below. For both of them, you get whatever you want. If you prefer spending more money for a slower CPU and half the storage on the micro SD card, then that would be it, this one. And if you prefer the device that has a more powerful CPU, and of course micro SD cards up to 512, which is double than these guys, then this would be the one you want. Of course, you get the best value for your money, I believe, with this one. Also, guys, let me know if there's any other products out there that you'd like for me to review, whether it's the same kind of products or something completely different, like a Wi-Fi or other car gadgets or whatever you want. Let me know if there's any interest in me reviewing any other products or car detailing products, whatever you guys want. I normally focus on the tech stuff, but if there's any other products out there you want me to review, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and you sign up for notifications, because I plan on making more videos showing you some cool things that I've kind of discovered that I can do with the Elite CarBox 4.0. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'll be reading all the comments below, so feel free to go ahead and drop a comment.